So after we complete the assessment, then we'll give you an extensive list of all the techniques that we would be using with your child. These are just a few from observations that I think would be beneficial to your child right now. So the first thing we've got, it's called manding. It's pretty much requesting an item or attention, whichever they are wanting at the moment. So if they're wanting an apple, you would have them repeat apple to you. That's where your child is at right now with their language, is they could repeat the one word apple instead of asking you, coming up to you and saying, Mom, can I have an apple? They would just tap your shoulder and say apple. As we move forward in the ABA process, we would shape that, which just means we turn it into, instead of just the one word apple, we would turn it into a question. So they would come up, get your attention, say, Mom, I want an apple. So with our manding and reinforcement, which is just a fancy way of saying they get what they want. So the apple is what they want at that time. So when they get the apple, that's their reinforcement. So they are more likely to mand, which is just, like I said, request for the apple again at another time, which we can transfer over to other objects like car, toy, gum, food, gummies, anything that the child wants, we can have them mand for it. It wouldn't be all at once. It would be, we would take it one step at a time. So that's the manding process. Like I said, it's just pretty much requesting an item or attention, stuff like that. Everyday skills that we use. So the next one I have on there, if you will look down on the next one, it is task analysis. Task analysis is basically just breaking tasks down into simpler steps. So right now, your concern is your child washing their hands after they use the bathroom. So something that we could use would be a visual schedule, and we would just print out little picture cards to tape to the mirror, tape to the wall, wherever you would think it would be most beneficial, and would have each task broken down. So the first task would be turning on the water. So it would have a picture of someone turning on the water. And then, and of course at the bottom, it would say turn on water. That way they can associate the words with the action. So after they would turn on the water, it would be get soap. So just like with the water, we would take a picture of someone pumping soap into their hand or using the bar soap, whichever you prefer, whichever one that they use at home. We would use that, and like I said earlier, at the bottom, we would put the words get soap. So they would get the soap, and then they would scrub their hands. So we would have a picture of someone scrubbing their hands and making bubbles. So whichever one your child responds to better, which right now would probably be make bubbles, because that would be more fun than just scrubbing your hands. When they scrub their hands, they'll see the bubbles. So we can associate the bubbles with the scrubbing hands. So we'll get them to make some bubbles with the soap. So then the next task card would be rinsing your hands. So it would show you rinsing, take a picture of rinsing your hands and getting all the bubbles off. So then the next picture would show someone turning off the water. And then the next one would be drying your hands. So if you use paper towels or just a hand towel, we would take a picture of that and let them see the picture drying hands. So how we would incorporate that is just we would wait for an opportunity to use it. So when they go to the bathroom or when they have dirty hands, we would take them to the sink in the bathroom, We would start there, and then we would move to another sink in the house, so kind of like the kitchen. If their hands are dirty in the kitchen, then we would wash their hands there after we master washing their hands in the bathroom. So we would take them to the bathroom, show them the first card, and at first we would probably have to physically help them do it, but as we progress, we could probably just prompt them by tapping the card. But before that, we would actually prompt them by saying, look here, and tap the picture. Then we would just tap the picture, and then we would say, wash hands, and point to the picture if they needed that extra prompt. So that would be the task analysis portion of our treatment. The next technique that we would be using is a really long word. It's called differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior. So basically what that is since your child has self-injurious behaviors of hitting themselves in the face, we would use a phrase such as hands still, which just means hands flat on the table or in their lap. We're going to start with on the table first. So we would, when they hit their face, we say hands still. So if their hands are still, there's no way that they can be hitting their face. And that's why it's called differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior, because hand still is incompatible with hitting my face. And we would use that with other skills such as kicking. If they somehow learn the skill of kicking somebody else, like their brother, you or dad, we would say feet still. So if feet are still, there's no way they can kick you. So that would be one way we would incorporate that. And then our last technique is one of my favorite ones. It's called errorless learning. It is where we do not give the child a chance to make a mistake. So if I give them a card and say, and it has red on it, it's got the red color on it, and I've got 3 cards on the table laying out, I say match red, then I would point to where I wanted them to put the card, which would be the red card on the table. So they would do that, and then I would actually go back and give them the red card again and say match red. So the hope is that they will transfer that into, oh, that is red, so I'm going to put that card with red. And then we will use that with matching shapes, colors. We use it with counting. We use it with matching pictures and all kinds of objects that we would use in our daily lives. So that is all that we have right now on the techniques. Another one that I want to go over is that's not on the handout is discrete child training, which errorless learning is a part of discrete child training. It's called DTT. It's a mouthful. So we use that to teach animals, clothes, colors, shapes, anything really. And so one way that we would use that is to lay out, let's say right now we would start with 2 cards. So we've got 2 cards laying out, and we would say point to red. So they would point to red. So we would take the red card off the table, and then let's say the card beside the red one was blue. We're going to move the blue card over to the side where the red one was and put a purple card down. So we want them to not associate picking the right answer with the place where it was placed at on the table. So then we would say point to purple. So that's a different place that they chose. We would teach them to say hello, goodbye, greet us, tell us bye when the session is over. If you have any questions, my number is on the back of your handout that you are more than welcome to keep. We can't wait to hear from you and work more with your child and get the assessment taken care of and get working on all those fun tasks and helping you guys make your lives better with ABA.